Hello everyone. In this session, I'll be discussing most important MCQs in the area of power electronics. I have added most repeated previous year question papers also. Let us have discussion one by one. Let us move on to the first question. For the SCR to be commutated, the current through it should be brought below its latching current, forward current, holding current, reverse current. So what is SCR? SCR is known as silicon control rectifier. It is belong to a family of thyristor. So the answer for this question, to commute, what is commutation? Commutation is nothing but method of turning off SCR. Okay, to turn off the SCR, the anode current should be less than holding current. So I can go for option C. Let us understand more on silicon control rectifier. As I already informed you that SCR is belong to the family of thyristor. It's a unidirectional device. The various applications are rectification, regulation, inversion, etc. When it comes to the structure, it has 3 junctions and 4 layers. You can observe that very clearly. Similarly, it is having 3 terminals, anode, cathode and the control terminal, that is gate. So basically, this SCR is known as one of the control device. When I talk about the modes of operation, it is having 3 modes of operation. The first mode is reverse blocking mode, and the second one is known as forward blocking mode, and the third one is forward conduction mode. We never operate the device in reverse blocking mode. Why? Because after this breakdown voltage, the thyristor gets spoiled. So in this mode, J1 and J3, that means 2 junction, J1 and J3 both are reverse biased, where J2 is forward biased. But it's not a conductive region, nor we never operate this region regarding SCR. When I talk about forward blocking mode, so in this mode, you can observe whenever we are increasing forward voltage, with respect to that there is a slight growth of current, but the device is not turning on in this modes of operation. Here J1 and J3 are forward biased, but J2 is in reverse biased. Still it is moving on up to VBO. VBO is known as forward breakover voltage. So you can turn on by applying more than VBO, but whenever you apply the voltage more than VBO, the device gets spoiled. Normally we never operate this. The best way to operate SCR is you have to provide the sufficient amount of forward voltage. Parallelly, you need to provide sufficient amount of gating pulse. At that time, what is going to happen means thyristor is getting turned on. So whenever thyristor is operating, that particular region is known as forward conduction mode. Suitable amount of gating pulse or gating current should be provided for the turning on SCR. That's a speciality. So this is actually the third mode of operation. That means breakdown occurs at the junction J2 and the device will be turning on. Here at latching current, IL represents latching current. At this point, thyristor will be started conducting. Thyristor will be always turn on after closing this particular point. That is known as latching current. But thyristor will maintain on state at holding current. You can see the below the level, that is known as holding current. Below the holding current, whenever anode current reaches less than holding current, the device will be turned off. That's a speciality. Suppose the device is already turned on. When you remove the gating pulse, whenever you are going to remove the gating pulse, nothing happens for the device. Device will continue its on state. That's a speciality of SCR. One more important information, the value of latching current will be always greater than holding current. So let us understand the definition of latching and holding current. The current at which the SCR turns into conduction mode from blocking mode is known as latching current. So after this point, thyristor will be, or thyristor or SCR. I already informed you that SCR belongs to a group of thyristor. That means SCR is belong to family of thyristor. When I talk about holding current, when the forward current reaches to level at which the SCR turns into blocking state is known as holding current. That means latching current is associated with the turn on process, where holding current is associated with the turn off process. These are the differences between latching current and holding current. Let me explain the second question. For a silicon controlled rectifier, the dV by dt protection is achieved through the use of RL in series with SCR, RC in series with SCR, inductor in series with SCR, RC across SCR. To ensure dV by dt protection, we need to connect RC network across the particular device. That is, RC network should be connected across SCR. So that is known as dV by dt protection. Let us understand what do you mean by dV by dt protection and what is di by dt protection. Let me talk about dV by dt protection first. When the SCR is forward blocking state, then only J2 junction is reverse biased and it acts as a capacitor having constant capacitance value Cj. Cj is also known as junction capacitance. So we know one relation, that means the current through the capacitor, that is given by C into dV by dt. From this equation I can say that the current that will be directly proportional to dV by dt. So as the leakage current increases, what is going to happen? dV by dt rating will be increased. If you keep on maintaining this condition, the thing is the SCR is getting turned on. Without applying the gating pulse, SCR getting turned on. If you operate the SCR in that manner, I already informed you that if you operate without providing the gating pulse, the device will be spoiled actually. It's not good for the device. So the breakdown will be taken place for that particular device. So that is not advisable. Therefore, to limit the dV by dt, what you can do, you need to connect RC network across the device so that you can control the value of dV by dt rating. When I talk about di by dt protection, as you know that whenever the thyristor is turned on, you need to provide suitable amount of gating pulse. Then only SCR will be turning on. So afterwards, the charge carriers spread through its junction randomly. It is not in a uniform manner. The charge carriers are spreading in a random fashion. So as a result, it increases the rate of rise of anode current. The rate of rise of anode current is represented by di by dt. So if this condition prevails, what is going to happen? So there is a localized heat generation will be taken place in that particular SCR. Definitely it generates special hotspot, or you can call local hotspot in that particular device. If such condition prevails, what is going to happen? Definitely device gets spoiled. That means SCR may get damaged. So to overcome those difficulty, what is the remedy? What you can do? Consider a thyristor. Then you can connect one inductor series with the thyristor or SCR, so that the device will be getting protected. As you know that the inductor prevents the change in value of current. Same principle is applied over there. At the end, we are going to solve one numerical example so that you will understand the concept very clearly. So these are the difference between dV by dt protection and di by dt protection. So the RC network, that is also known as snubber circuit. For dV by dt protection, we are going to use RC network which is connected parallel to the device. That particular network is also known as snubber circuit. I would like to explain the third question. In case of three-phase full control converter with 6 SCRs, commutation occurs every 120 degree, 60 degree, 180 degree and 30 degree. Actually commutation means turning off. The commutation occurs for this combination is at 60 degree. So I can go for option B. How it is going to happen? If you draw one special table, then you will understand very clearly. Before that, let me explain in words. Every SCR conducts for 120 degree. That is true. This means that the SCRs from the positive group are fired 120 degree among themselves. Same is true for SCRs from negative group as well. For example, if T1 is a switch or SCR, starts conducting at 90 degree, it will conduct till 90 plus 120. That means 210 degree. But while T1 is conducting, half of the time, that is from 90 degree to 150 degree, T6 is conducting and another half of T2 is conducting. Hence, the commutation, that means turning off. The change in SCR which is conducting takes place every 60 degree irrespective of the firing angle. That's a speciality. So we can opt the option number B. This is one of the most important question which has been repeated in the year of 2012. I would like to explain question number 4. As compared to power MOSFET, A power BJT has option A, lower switching losses but higher conduction losses. Option B, higher switching losses and higher conduction loss. Third option, higher switching losses and lower conduction losses. And final option, lower switching losses and lower conduction loss. We need to perform the suitable comparison between power MOSFET and power BJT. Before that, the right answer for this question is, as compared to power MOSFET, a power BJT has higher switching losses and lower conduction losses. Definitely I can go for third option. Now let me compare MOSFET and BJT. You will understand the concept very clearly. When I talk about power MOSFET, the power MOSFET is a unipolar device where power BJT is a bipolar device. Power MOSFET is a voltage controlled device. This is one of the most important point. Then where power BJT, there is a current controlled device. Power MOSFET is a majority carrier device where power BJT is a minority carrier device. When I talk about power MOSFET, the input impedance of power MOSFET is very much high, where the input impedance of power BJT is low. Then power MOSFET has a positive temperature coefficient. That means the temperature that is directly proportional to resistance. As the temperature increases, resistance of that particular material is getting increased. Where in power BJT, it shows the negative temperature coefficient of material. That means temperature and resistance both are in inverse relation. Secondary breakdown does not occur in case of power MOSFET, where secondary breakdown will take place in power BJT. Then regarding the frequency of operation, it can operate, power MOSFET can operate higher frequency over 100 kilohertz, where the operating frequency of power BJT is limited up to 10 kilohertz. Power MOSFET has low switching losses, but the conduction losses is more due to high on-state resistance. It is also known as RDS. That is most important criteria while selecting a power MOSFET. Same thing has been asked in the previous questions. Power BJT has high switching loss, but the conduction loss is very less. The on-state voltage of power MOSFET is high compared to power BJT. The on-state voltage of power BJT is less as compared to power MOSFET. Similarly, power MOSFETs are available with a low current rating compared to power BJT. Current rating of power MOSFET is about 140 ampere, approximate value. We have to see the data sheet. It differs from power MOSFET companies. So there are different varieties are available, IR2110, IR2111. Likewise, many varieties are available. So let us look at the data sheet and find out the accurate value. This is actually approximate value. When I talk about power BJTs are available with a high current rating compared to power MOSFET. The current rating is about 800 ampere. Already it's a current control device. Power MOSFETs are very sensitive to voltage spikes compared to power BJT. Power BJTs are very less sensitive compared to voltage spike in case of as compared to power MOSFET. These are the differences between power MOSFET and power BJT. That is most important. We may get some confusion. You have to get rid of those kind of confusions. Moving on to question number 5. The SCR is a 2-layer 1-junction device, 3-layer 2-junction device, 4-layer 3-junction device, 5-layer 4-junction device. Which is the right answer? Obviously, the answer for this question is option C. That means 4-layer 3-junction device. You can observe the diagram. There are 3 junctions, J1, J2, J3, and there are 4 layers. Layer number 1, layer number 2, layer number 3, and 4. This is a symbol for SCR which I already discussed at the beginning. Let me explain about question number 6. A 3-phase 6-pulse full converter works as a AC to DC converter for firing angle in the range alpha greater than 90, alpha lies in between 90 and 180 degree, and alpha lies in between 0 and 90 degree, and alpha lies in between 0 and 360 degree. That means a 3-phase 6-pulse full converter. That means 3-phase fully controlled rectifier. AC to DC means rectification. For this rectification operation, we consider the angle, firing angle that lies in between 0 and 90 degree. So if I talk about inversion, that means DC to AC, obviously that firing angle should be 90 in between 90 and 180 degree. That means 90 less than alpha less than 180 degree. So here which is the right answer? A 3-phase 6-pulse full converter works as a AC to DC converter or rectifier for the firing angle in the range of third option is the right answer, 0 less than alpha less than 90 degree. So I can go for coming to next question. For the below given circuit, you can observe the circuit. This is basically a three-phase control rectifier. That means three-phase AC that will be converted into three-phase DC, and we are going to provide a three-phase load over here. This is basically an RL load. For the given below circuit, the conduction sequence for the negative group of SCRs. So you can see this is actually the positive group, T1, T3, T5. Those SCRs are belong to positive group, where T4, T6, T2 all are belong to negative group. If I talk about the conduction of positive group, the sequence will be like this: T1, then T3 and T5. But when I talk about the negative sequence, the conduction will be like this: T2, then T4, then T6. So which is the right answer? Definitely I have to go for option D, that is T2, T4, T6. So you can refer any of the textbooks and you will be getting the better understanding. If you draw the waveform, that is much better. So I can go for option D. I would like to discuss about question number 8. Cycloconverters are used, option A, for converting AC to HVDC, for changing the frequency of AC voltage, in magnetic amplifiers, and finally in TV station. So what is cycloconverter? It is basically AC to AC converter. So main application for cycloconverter is to convert the input frequency from one range to output frequency to different range. So basically changing the frequency changer we can say. So that I can go for option B, for changing the frequency of AC voltage. So let us discuss more on cycloconverter. So here we have fixed voltage, fixed frequency. Basically AC input. So frequency will be existing only for AC. It will be converting into variable frequency, variable voltage AC output, or else variable frequency, fixed voltage AC output. So these are the criteria. Okay, mainly changing the frequency. With the help of this converter, you can change the frequency. Suppose if the load requirement is in different frequency and you have only the fixed frequency, at that time what you are going to do? You can go for cycloconverter. It will be for single phase and separate for three phase also. So there are different applications like AC drives, then propulsion systems, high frequency induction heatings, then synchronous motors in sea and undersea vehicles, then electromagnetic launches. These are the few applications. There are many more. This is basically an example of cycloconverter. It is having P converter section and N converter section. There is a load. So the load requirement is different. That means load requirement is in different frequency, and you have the supply frequency in different terms. So you need to convert the supply frequency which is required for the load frequency. Okay, this is a suitable control. That means gating pulse. So that you will be getting a different change in time period. If you look at the time period, you can see. So time periods are different. Time periods are different means frequencies are getting changed. That means time period and frequency both are inversely proportional. So you can change the particular frequency. Output frequency can be changed by using this cycloconverter. So you can observe the diagram and you will understand very clearly. I would like to explain next question, that is, a series inductor is to be provided for the di by dt protection of an SCR. We already learned the circuit voltage is 300 volt. The di by dt rating of SCR is used is 25 ampere per microsecond. The value of inductor must be at least. We have four options. First of all, we have to work out why di by dt protection is required. Okay, that you already learned. Now, how to ensure di by dt protection? You need to connect a series inductor along with the SCR so that you can prevent the rate of change of current with respect to time. That means di by dt. Now let us draw the corresponding circuit diagram. Then you will understand the concept very clearly. Right now, I have drawn a rough sketch. We have SCR, then we are operating on load. So it will act as a switch. If we allow the SCR in this manner, what is going to happen? There is a di by dt rating that will increase, that will be increased, that affects the performance of SCR. Afterwards, the temperature gets increased inside the SCR and device will be getting spoiled. To overcome those difficulty, what you are going to do? You need to connect one inductor series with SCR. So let us connect one inductor series to the SCR. I have connected one inductor. Here, the operating voltage of the circuit is 300 volt, and the di by dt rating, that is already given. Di by dt rating of the SCR is 25 ampere per microsecond. Now let us note down those parameters which is available from the question. The operating voltage I have marked over here, that is 300 volt, and the di by dt rating of the device, that is equal to 25 ampere per microsecond. Now, as you know that the inductor voltage or voltage across inductor, that is given by one of the equation VL, or you can write V is equal to L into di by dt, di divided by dt. Actually, according to the particular question, what they are demanding, you need to calculate what is the value of inductor to add the circuit for minimizing di by dt rating. So we have to calculate the value of inductance. Okay, so let us calculate the value of inductance. L is given by, what is in the LHS? V. RHS side you can adjust, that is di by dt. So take the ratio V divided by di by dt, di divided by dt. So this will be the answer. Now let us solve. What is V? V is nothing but 300 volt. 300. I'll be writing casually. Then di by dt has been given in terms of 25 ampere per microsecond. So better you convert into SI unit, seconds. That means 25 divided by, how to convert microsecond into second? That means 1 microsecond is equal to 1 into 10 to the power minus 6. That is equal to 1 into 10 to the power minus 6. Okay, you need to solve this. So we can write 300 divided by 25 into 10 to the power 6. It can be modified. Then again if I modify, then 300 divided by 25, that is nothing but 12. Then minus 10 to the power minus 6, that comes to 10 to the power 6. When it comes to numerator, it becomes 10 to the power 6. 10 to the power minus 6. That means 300 divided by 25 into 10 to the power 6. Then the 10 to the power 6 which is available along with the 25, that will comes to numerator and it becomes 10 to the power minus 6. So what is the unit? It will be Henry. 12 into 10 to the power minus 6 Henry. So what is 12 into 10 to the power minus 6 Henry? Can I make it out into another form? Definitely it can be formed into another form. That means 12 into 10 to the power minus 6 Henry means 12 microhenry. 12 microhenry. So the answer for this question is the value of inductor. The value of inductor, that is given as 12 microhenry. Now let us check whether the same thing is available in the option or not. Obviously it's available. You can go for third option. So third option is the right answer. The value of inductor should be at least 12 microhenry. Now I would like to discuss the next question. The natural commutation is dash: external pulse commutation, then impulse commutation, line commutation, and load commutation. Commutation is nothing but the method of turning off SCR. Here, natural commutation is nothing but it's a line commutation. Actually, to turn on the thyristor, the anode to cathode voltage should be positive. Then you have to provide sufficient amount of gating current. When I want to turn off, the value of anode current should less than latching current. Furthermore, the polarity of the particular voltage VAK, anode to cathode voltage, can be reversed. Then only SCR will be off. If the process are taking place naturally without any external element, then it is known as natural commutation. So I have made a difference between natural commutation and the forced commutation. The natural commutation is also known as source commutation, or you can call line commutation, which is available in our option. Here we do not require any external element or external methods to turn off SCR. Conventionally we are going to turn off SCR. But if you want to turn off SCR by using any external element such as inductor or capacitor, whatever it can be, such kind of commutation technique is known as forced commutation. So these are the classification of commutation: natural commutation, or you can call source commutation or line commutation. The second thing is forced commutation. So these are the two types of commutation which is available to turn off SCR. I have referred mainly the textbook of Muhammad H. Rashid. If you are having any confusion regarding those discussion, kindly put up in the comment box. I will try to revert back. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you found this channel interesting, please do subscribe. If you are preparing for non-technical examination, you can refer my another channel, that is Winners Capsule. Finally, thank you for your kind support.